A very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to the second part of the first chapter, Indian Economy on the Eve of Independence. Let's continue with this chapter with our next topic, that is demographic profile, conditions or transitions. The demographic conditions during the British rule exhibited all features of stagnant and backward Indian economy. The first official census was conducted in the year 1881. I would suggest you to please write down this date somewhere. The first official census was conducted in the year 1881. Though suffering from certain limitations, the census revealed unevenness in India's population growth. From 1881 onwards, census operations were carried out after every 10 years. 1921 is generally considered to be a year of great divide. Before 1921, India was in the first stage of demographic transition, again a date that needs a mention. Before 1921, India was in the first stage of demographic transition. The second stage of demographic transition began after 1921. So the year 1921 is described as the year of Great Divide. Neither the total population of India nor the rate of population growth in the first stage was very high. And why 1921 is considered to be the year of Great Divide? Because after 1921, population grew continuously and rapidly. The demographic conditions are explained by the following points. The birth rate and the death rates were very high. The overall literacy rate was as low as 16%, and for female literacy rate was just 7%. Infant mortality rate was 218 per thousand births. Present rate, we can compare it with that as well, it's 44 per thousand. And overall mortality rate was also very high. Life expectancy was as low as just 32 years compared to the present 68 years. There was extensive poverty present in our economy at that time. Public health facilities were either unavailable to large masses of population, or they were highly inadequately unavailable. Water and airborne diseases were rampant. Occupational structure. Occupational structure refers to the distribution of the working persons across different industries and sectors. During the colonial period, the occupational structure of India showed little sign of change. The state of occupational structure during the British rule can be summarized as seen here. First is predominance of the primary occupation. The agriculture sector accounted for largest share of workforce with approximately 70 to 75%. The manufacturing and the service sector accounted for the remaining 15 to 20 or 25%. Regional variations were there, regional disparities were there, and they were seen in the following features. There was decline in the dependence of the workforce on agriculture sector in parts of Madras Presidency. Presently, it was Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Karnataka. Maharashtra and West Bengal were showing an increase in the manufacturing and service sector workforce. There was increase in the share of workforce in agriculture in the states such as Odisha, Rajasthan and Punjab. Moving towards the next topic, infrastructure. The infrastructure facilities during the British rule were very poor, very poor. Some efforts were made to develop basic infrastructure like roads, railways, ports, water transport, posts, and telegraphs. But the main motive behind such infrastructure development was to just serve colonial interest, was all for the benefit of British economy. The state of infrastructure as inherited from the British rule is discussed below. Roads. The colonial administration could not accomplish much on construction of roads due to scarcity of funds. The roads were built to serve the interest of movement of army and shifting of raw material, for mobilizing the army within India and drawing out the raw material to the nearest railway stations or the ports, to send these to England or to other foreign lands. The railways, the most important contribution of British rule was introduction of railways in India in 1850. Again, a date that needs a mention. British rule introduced railways in India in 1850. The railways affected the structure of Indian economy in two ways. Railways enabled people to undertake long distances to travel. It broke geographical and cultural barriers and promoted national integration. It enhanced commercialization of Indian agriculture, which adversely affected the self-sufficiency of our economy. Communication. The introduction of extensive system of electric telegraph in India similarly served the purpose of maintaining law and order. British took measures for the development of water and air transport as well. Inland waterways proved to be uneconomical, as in the case of Coast Canal on Odisha coast. Effects of railways. The British introduced railways in 1850, as already told you about it. It was considered as one of the most important contribution which was made by the British government to our country. It affected the structure of the Indian railways in many ways. It enabled people to travel long distances, as I told you earlier. It helped in integrating the nation. It helped in the commercialization of the Indian agriculture, which definitely adversely affected the self-sufficiency of the village economies in India. The volume of the India's export trade undoubtedly expanded, and it provided employment opportunities to the people as well. Moving towards the positive and the negative impact or the contribution of the British rule. Let's look ahead towards the positive contributions made by the British government. They introduced railway system in 1850. They developed the modern system of communication. The modern banking system was established by the Britishers, and they formed the Imperial Bank of India till the establishment of Reserve Bank of India in 1935. The Imperial Bank served as government's banker and also managed its public debt. They developed irrigation work. They created new grain and cotton producing regions. Political unification of the country was also possible due to the British exploitation in our country. Negative impact during independence and challenges. Per capita income was very low. The large scale unemployment and underemployment was a significant feature that could be seen in our economy. The industrial sector was crying for modernization, was crying for diversification, the capacity building and public investment. There was no capital good industry till then. The agriculture sector was again suffering, was stagnant with low productivity and surplus labor, again leading to disguised and underemployment. There was massive illiteracy in our country. State of Indian economy on the eve of independence. During the British rule, the Britishers transformed the Indian economy into a colonial, backward, semi feudal, stagnant, backward, depleted economy. Colonial economy. In India, the colonial exploitation has a long history spread over about 200 years. British rule resulted huge drain of wealth from India. We have studied that. In order to facilitate their own industries, so that our country supply them raw material and becomes a market for their finished goods. They also encouraged commercialization of Indian agriculture so that they can develop their own industries. The impact of British colonial policy was deep on India, even at the time of independence. Semi feudal economy. By the close of British period, there were two aspects of the Indian economy. There was an introduction of semi feudal system which gave birth to feudal relations between landlord and tenant. The landlord used to charge very high rate of lagan and were very cruel to the cultivators. It also led to the introduction of capitalist system. The establishment of modern industries led to creation of two classes. First, the capitalist, and the other one were the laborers. So India inherited the features of both feudal and capitalist system in the Indian economy. Stagnant economy. A stagnant economy is the one which is growing at a very low pace or rate. On the eve of independence, India economy was a stagnant economy. The growth of the aggregate real output during the first half, as mentioned earlier, was less than 2%, and growth in the per capita output was only 0.5%. Backward economy. Indian economy was a backward economy, and there were many reasons which led to the backwardness of our economy. Low level of productivity, low per capita income, traditional methods that were used for agriculture, stagnation of agriculture, there were high birth rates, high death rates, and massive illiteracy. All this led to the stagnation, backwardness of our economy. So today we finish our first chapter in two parts: Indian economy on the eve of independence. After this, I would suggest you to go through the NCERT properly of this chapter, so that in case you have any doubt, we can hold a remedial session. Another suggestion from my side would be to go through and learn the back exercise questions of NCERT. Thank you.